Hello and a very warm welcome to Rajya Sabha television. You're watching the news tonight with me, Frank Rausen Pereira. Here are the headlines. CBSE 12th Standard Economics exam to be held again on the 25th of April. Decision on 10th Standard Mathematics examination to be taken in 15 days. Re-exam likely to be limited to Delhi and Haryana alone. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addresses participants of the Smart India Hackathon through video conferencing. Nearly 8,000 students are working at 28 centres to solve 340 software problems related to various ministries and departments. Tamil Nadu government to move Supreme Court for Kaveri Management Board. Decision comes at the end of 6-week deadline given to the centre to formulate a scheme on the dispute. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu underscores need for true gender equity, says empowering women in all fields will enable them to lead a life of dignity and speed up development in the country. And Russia hits back at EU nation over expulsion of its diplomats by UK and its allies. Moscow expels Dutch diplomats, tells Britain it has 1 month to reduce diplomatic presence in the country. Well, the CBSE has announced that re-examination for the economics paper of Class 12, while a decision on holding a retest for the Class 10 mathematics paper will be taken soon. Meanwhile, students and youth leaders from the Congress held protests across the national capital against the alleged question paper leak. Students and youth Congress leaders held protests in the national capital against the CBSE board papers being leaked. They accused the board of negligence and demanded immediate action against the guilty. About 28 lakh students have been affected by the decision to cancel the CBSE exams. The government said the economics exam of Class 12 will be held on April 25th. The date for the mathematics exam for Class 10 will be announced later.
The first announcement is in the context of the Class 12 examination. One paper got apparently leaked. And given the fact that the Class 12 examinations are a very important examination in the context of the future of a child, in the context of examinations or the admissions that have to be done in the Delhi University, the date for the examination has been fixed as 25th of March. Sorry, 25th of April, I stand corrected, 25th of April. As far as Class 10 examinations are concerned, the preliminary inquiries have revealed that the leak was restricted to Delhi and Haryana.
The Delhi Police's crime branch has questioned over 30 people so far, including students and teachers of private coaching centers in connection with the matter. They also sought a reply from Google about an email that was sent to CBSE chairperson Anita Karwal in connection with the paper leak case. Over 10 WhatsApp groups, each having 50 to 60 members, have been identified in connection with this.
जैसा कि मैंने पहले कहा कि हम बच्चों के फेवर में ही डिसीजन लिया है, हम फेयरनेस के इंटरेस्ट में डिसीजन लिया है और बहुत जल्दी उनको हम डेट बताने वाले हैं और बच्चों के फेवर में ही डिसीजंस होंगे, आप बिल्कुल चिंता न करें.
The matter figured in the grand finale of Smart India Hackathon on Friday. HRD Minister Prakash Javadekar sought help from engineering students to get rid of paper leak problems.
But today also, I am also facing one problem in the country. It's a problem of paper leak. So, how to solve it? That's also a challenge. And I am throwing this challenge to the students. It's an open innovation challenge. After the hackathon also over, some people can work and give us suggestions.
So far, the police have detained 6 students from Jharkhand's Chhatra district for the leak. The central government is also monitoring the probe. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television. Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Friday said that he is glad to see that how today's younger generation has immersed itself in nation building. Modi added that such efforts give strength to build a new India. The Prime Minister was interacting with young innovators of the grand finale of Smart India Hackathon 2018 at centres across the country through video conferencing.
आज की जनरेशन जब नेशन बिल्डिंग के लिए इस तरह के प्रयास में जुटती है तो न्यू इंडिया का इरादा और मजबूत हो जाता है और इसलिए मैं बहुत जोर देता हूं पार्टिसिपेशन पर, पार्टिसिपेटिव गवर्नेंस पर। दुनिया की कोई भी चुनौती इस देश के 125 करोड़ लोगों की इच्छा शक्ति और श्रम शक्ति से कतई बड़ी नहीं है। जहां 65% जनसंख्या 35 वर्ष से कम उम्र की हो, जहां पर डेमोग्राफिक डिविडेंड का इतना विस्तार हो, उस देश के लोग ठान ले तो कोई भी लक्ष्य असंभव नहीं है। मैं विशेषकर नौजवानों की बात करूं तो आप सभी में जो जोश, जो उत्साह, जो उम्मीद मैं न्यू इंडिया के लिए देखता हूं, वो मेरे अपने भरोसे को कई गुना और बढ़ा देती है।
Earlier in the day, Human Resource Development Minister Prakash Javadekar inaugurated the Smart India Hackathon Grand Finale 2018 Software Edition in New Delhi. Addressing the two-day event, he said that hackathon aims to build Digital India and to engage the youth directly in nation building. Javadekar further said that the event is intended to promote innovation and out-of-the-box thinking in young minds. The second edition of Smart India Hackathon began at 28 centres across the country, including Banaras Hindu University.
In Modi government, we have seen the growth of mobile industry in the country from one factory to now more than 50 factories in the country. This is how we are progressing. But still, I always feel that hardware is our one weak point where we must conquer, and this is the beginning for that hackathon. It's an open invitation for innovation.
Meanwhile, in a major development, the Ministry of External Affairs today said that India and Pakistan have mutually agreed to resolve matters related to the treatment of diplomats and diplomatic premises. This is in line with the 1992 Code of Conduct for the treatment of diplomatic and consular personnel in India and Pakistan. Well, for more on the story, let's go across to our correspondent Akhilesh Suman, who joins us on the phone line right now. Well, Akhilesh Suman, a major development as far as India and Pakistan are concerned. This diplomatic row has been going on for some time now, and it looks like both the nations want to work together and put an end to it.
Yeah, this really, it was going on for quite some time, and it was putting both the countries in quite unease. But you know that after Sohail Mahmood had gone to Islamabad and he had consulted his foreign ministry and other agencies in his country, and when he came back, I think the situations started melting down, because India was always telling that some initiatives would come from Pakistan, because it was the Indian personnel who were being harassed off and on. Even construction was being stopped. Even junior staffs were being harassed and possibly, they were chased and all the time. So, they also complained, Pakistani also complained that it is going on in India. So after that, diplomatic channels started taking their call, and then after consulting at various levels, I think that today it has been decided that yes, we should follow 1992 Code of Conduct that gives that there should be immunity for movement of high commissioners and high commissioner staff and even consular staff in the country by proper information. And there should be no things like harassment, and there should be considered as the respected citizen who is roaming around in the country. And also it has provisions for, that surprisingly about media people who are working in both the countries, and they should report the things unbiased and don't hyper. So both the ministries will be in touch with the media of both the countries to say that yes, this situation has been resolved, and please report it accordingly. Thanks.
All right, Akhilesh Suman, we'll have to leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining us there with all those details. Moving on now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has called Indians living abroad the true national ambassadors who contribute in strengthening India's relations with other countries. Addressing the Sri Kuchileva Patel Samaj in Nairobi via video conferencing on its Silver Jubilee celebrations on Friday, Prime Minister Modi lauded the contribution of the community in various welfare activities and the development of East Africa. He also recalled the role of members of Indian community in Kenya's freedom movement. Prime Minister Modi said that India is investing in various sectors in Kenya, from food processing to skill education. He said that India has announced $10 billion aid for the development of Africa. He further said that recently New Delhi announced the opening of 18 new embassies and high commissions in the region.
વિતેલા 3-4 વર્ષમાં માત્ર કેન્યા જ નહીં પણ સંપૂર્ણ આફ્રિકા મહાદ્વીપમાં ભારતના મજબૂત સંબંધોની એક નવી દિશા ખુલી છે કે તાજેતરમાં જ ભારત સરકારે નિર્ણય કર્યો છે કે આફ્રિકાના દેશોમાં નવી 18 એમ્બેસી અને હાઈ કમિશન ખોલવાની જાહેરાત અમે કરી દીધી છે, નિર્ણય કરી દીધો છે. ટૂંકમાં કામ આગળ વધશે.
Well, the Tamil Nadu government will move the Supreme Court on the issue of constituting the Kaveri Management Board. State Chief Minister Palaniswamy chaired a meeting on Thursday with his senior cabinet colleagues to discuss legal steps taken in this regard. AIADMK workers have decided to go on a fast on April 2nd, demanding formation of Kaveri Management Board. The meeting was held following the end of a 6-week deadline given by the Supreme Court to the centre to set up a Kaveri Water Management Board to formulate a scheme, but the central government has failed to do so. There is a standoff in the parliament regarding this issue. Meanwhile, the DMK has also decided to stage a demonstration against Prime Minister Narendra Modi during his visit to Tamil Nadu on April 15th. Meanwhile, continuing with his campaign in poll-bound Karnataka, BJP President Amit Shah visited the Suttur Mutt and met the royal family at Mysore Palace on Friday. He met with Dalit leaders and visited the famous Nanjunda Sri Kanteshwara temple and Ganapati Satchidananda ashram. Earlier, Shah took blessings from Mahaswamiji of Suttur Mutt, which is associated with the Lingayat and Veerashaiva community. Shah also met with the erstwhile royal family of Mysuru amid speculations about their joining the BJP. Parliamentary Affairs Minister Anant Kumar and BJP's chief ministerial candidate in Karnataka, B.S. Yediyurappa, were present with Amit Shah.
कर्नाटक के विकास के लिए, कर्नाटक के युवा के लिए, कर्नाटक की महिला के लिए, दलित और आदिवासी के लिए, कर्नाटक के किसान के लिए हम सत्ता में परिवर्तन करना चाहते हैं. कांग्रेस को उखाड़ फेंकने में जेडीएस समर्थ नहीं है. अगर कर्नाटक की जनता चाहती है कि कांग्रेस को उखाड़ फेंकना है, सरकार बदलनी है, सिद्धरामैया को हटाना है, तो भारतीय जनता पार्टी को जिताना पड़ेगा, श्री येदियुरप्पा जी को मुख्यमंत्री बनाना पड़ेगा.
Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah, meanwhile, will contest the assembly elections from the Chamundeshwari constituency in Mysuru. He said this in response to JDS expressing doubts over it. Siddaramaiah said not only will he contest from the seat, he will win it too. Making his debut in the assembly in 1983, Siddaramaiah got elected from Chamundeshwari on a Lokdal party ticket, from where he has won 5 times out of 7. In the 2006 by-poll, Siddaramaiah was elected to the state legislature as a Congress candidate from Chamundeshwari by a wafer-thin margin of 257 votes after a bitter battle with the JDS and BJP. Ahead of the polls, he had quit the JDS to join the Congress. Well, after its massive electoral defeat in Tripura, the CPIM is looking to bolster its chances in Karnataka. In its 3-day Central Committee meeting in New Delhi, the party decided on the candidates for Karnataka Assembly polls. The party says the list of candidates will be released soon. Party General Secretary Sitaram Yechuri has said that the party will contest the Karnataka polls as a part of the left front. The meeting also discussed the possibilities of a third front for the 2019 polls.
CPM is going to enter the contest as part of the left front in Karnataka. And in these elections, the main objective of the CPM would be to defeat the BJP And apart from the seats where we are contesting, we have decided we'll support the strongest candidate that will be in a position to defeat the BJP.
Well, Minister of State for External Affairs V.K. Singh will travel to Iraq on April 1st to bring back the mortal remains of 39 Indians killed by the ISIS. The remains will be brought back in a special IAF aircraft by April 2nd. Singh will fly to Baghdad and meet officials there to thank them. After returning on the afternoon of the 2nd, he will go to Amritsar, Patna and Kolkata to hand over the bodies individually to family members. The delay in going to Baghdad was caused as the DNA of the 39th victim was not matching 100%. External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj had informed Parliament on March 20th that the missing Indians have been killed. Well, 25 members of the Lok Sabha were conferred Best Parliamentarian Awards by Fame India Hindi magazine in the national capital on Friday. Felicitating the awardees, Union Minister Harshvardhan inspired the parliamentarians to work tirelessly for the welfare of the people.
25 Lok Sabha members won the Fame India 2018 Best Parliamentarian Award. They were selected by a survey jointly conducted by Fame India, a Hindi magazine, and survey agency Asia Post. Union Minister Harshvardhan praised the contribution of the MPs in the development of the country. The awardees included Kirit Premji Bhai Solanki, Nishikant Dubey, Bhairon Prasad Mishra, Rodmal Nagar, Udit Raj, Anurag Singh Thakur, Om Birla, Chandra Prakash Joshi, Pushpendra Singh Chandel, Poonam Mahajan, Virendra Singh, Sharat Tripathi, Sudhir Gupta, Ramesh Chandra Kaushik of the BJP. Other winners were Gaurav Gogoi and Dipender Singh Hooda of the Congress Party, Rabindra Kumar Jaina and Kalikesh Narayan Singh Deo of the Biju Janata Dal, Arvind Sawant of the Shiv Sena, Supriya Sule of the NCP, Pappu Yadav of the Jan Adhikar Party, Dushyant Chautala of the National Lok Dal, N.K. Premachandran of the Revolutionary Socialist Party, Saugata Rai of the TMC, and Prem Singh Chandu Majra of the Shiromani Akali Dal. The MP's performance was measured on the number of debates they participated in, the number of questions raised, the number of private members' bills introduced, attendance, and the usage of funds under the Members of Parliament Local Area Development Scheme. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, it's time for a short break now, but news and updates will continue on the other side. Stay tuned, we'll be right back. Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha Television. Well, the Income Tax Department has released a pan-India list of 24 defaulting individuals and companies who owe about 490 crore rupees in taxes. The list is that of people who have either gone untraceable or have reported inadequate assets for payment of dues. The department issued an advertisement as part of its name and shame defaulters policy in leading national dailies. The public announcement carries the identity of the firm or the individual, the name of their directors and partners, their PAN or TAN numbers, among other details. These defaulting firms were in the business sectors like food processing, bullion trading, software, real estate, breweries and manufacture of ingots, among others. The maximum tax dues of over 86.27 crore rupees is against a Delhi-based company. The Income Tax Department has carried out this exercise over the last few years and had named 96 such entities. Well, businesses and transporters moving goods worth over 50,000 rupees from one state to another will have to carry an electronic or e-way bill from 1st of April. The e-way bill provision of the Goods and Services Tax was first introduced in February as an attempt towards anti-evasion measure that would boost tax collections by clamping down on trade that currently happens on cash basis. However, its implementation was put on hold after the system developed glitches in generating permits. To ensure a foolproof system, the Goods and Services Tax Network has activated a facility to generate e-way bill when goods are transported from one state to another by either road, railways, airways or vessels. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has emphasized the need for women empowerment. Speaking in Hyderabad, Vice President Naidu said true gender equality can be achieved only when women are empowered in all fields. He said that gender discrimination has resulted in low literacy rates and therefore low representation of women in workforce and politics. Underscoring the need for true gender equality, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu on Friday said it can be achieved when women are empowered in all fields: educational, social, economic and political.
Reference books, titles, journals and periodicals.
Addressing the Silver Jubilee ceremony of the Mahila Dakshata Samiti in Hyderabad, Vice President Naidu said empowering women will enable them to lead a life of dignity. He said there is enough evidence to show that women during the early Vedic period were seen as equal to men in all walks of life.
Our long, rich history is dotted with the numerous achievements of extraordinary women. Prabhavati, daughter of Chandragupta II, who performed administrative duties in her kingdom. Adevidanga, Rajya Sultana, the only woman monarch to rule Delhi. Durgavati, the gold queen. Rajamata Jijabai. We could also recount the famous poetess like Mulla, who wrote Ramayana. Akka Mahadevi, a 20th century Kannada poetess. Tamil poetess Andal and Avayar.
The Vice President also expressed concern over gender discrimination that has resulted in low literacy among women. He said the drop in women workforce is a matter of concern and this trend has to be reversed. He added that atrocities against women and domestic abuse are unfortunately tarnishing our image as a nation.
దీంతో పాటు మహిళలు కూడా నేను ఇందాక చెప్పినట్టుగా తమ కర్తవ్యాన్ని భరించాల్సి ఉంది. ఇది దురదృష్టం. 70 ఏళ్ల స్వతంత్ర అనంతరం కూడా మన దేశంలో మహిళల యొక్క విద్యా శాతం తక్కువగా ఉంది. Literacy rate among women has to be improved drastically to enable them get gainful employment or take up skilled vocations. Needless to say that education forms the foundation for empowering women. As had been most aptly said, educating a woman means educating an entire family.
The Vice President also said that empowering women educationally, socially and politically is the fundamental requirement for the country to achieve rapid progress. Rajkamal Rao's report for Rajya Sabha Television. Meanwhile, the latest development in the H-1B visa, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services has warned foreign workers that multiple applications will lead to rejection of the petitions. The USCIS has said that the multiple application system undermines the integrity of the lottery process and that it would intensify scrutiny of such applications. The H-1B filing process begins from April 2nd for the fiscal year 2019 starting October 1st. Meanwhile, an influential U.S. immigration advocacy body has said that the Trump administration's proposal to withdraw the provision of giving work permits to the spouses of the H-1B visa workers will make America less attractive for foreign talent. Well, President Donald Trump has said that the U.S. would be withdrawing forces from Syria very soon. Trump said this as he lamented that America had wasted $7 trillion in wars in the Middle East but gets nothing in return. However, he said U.S. was winning the battle against the Islamic State terrorists. The approximately 2,000 U.S. troops inside Syria have been working alongside Syrian Democratic Forces, reclaiming territory from IS to include the city of Raqqa, the terrorist organization's once self-proclaimed capital in Syria. However, Trump's announcement on Syria withdrawal surprised the Pentagon and State Department. Trump's statement came just hours after the Pentagon highlighted the need for U.S. troops to remain in Syria for the immediate future.
We spent, and I was against it from the beginning. They try and say, well, maybe not. I was against it from the beginning. And by the way, we're knocking the hell out of ISIS. We'll be coming out of Syria like very soon. Let the other people take care of it now. Very soon. Very soon we're coming out. We're going to have 100% of the caliphate, as they call it, sometimes referred to as land. We're taking it all back.
Well, Russia on Friday expelled Dutch diplomats and gave Britain 1 month's notice to reduce its diplomatic presence in the country, hitting back at EU countries after a coordinated campaign by the UK and its allies over a nerve agent attack on a former spy. Earlier in the day, Russia had summoned the ambassadors of a number of nations, including Britain, France, Germany and Canada, to inform them of retaliatory measures. Moscow has already announced that it would expel 60 US diplomats and close Washington's consulate in St. Petersburg after the expulsion of its own diplomats and the closure of one of its US consulates. In all, more than 150 Russian diplomats have been ordered out of the US, EU, NATO countries and other nations in a coordinated action against Moscow. Well, that's it on this newscast. Good night.